The Rev'it Boxxer 2s are new for autumn-winter 2020. They've just landed and they're one of my 10 out of 10 products for this season. This is a glove that really ticks the box if you're looking for something that's not bulky and that still does everything you need of a winter riding glove. The original Boxxer was the one that set in stone this idea that winter riding gloves did not have to be gauntlet in length and oven mitt in thickness, and this one has now set in motion a slightly wider range from Rev'it themselves. We just showed you the Cassini glove a few reviews back, and this runs alongside the Hydra 2 as being two very good textile alternatives. Really, the main difference where the Boxxer 2 comes in is the fact this is a full goatskin leather outer. And for me, that means that they look a little bit nicer and a bit more premium, and I think they just feel better for it too. So for the £10 price increase, so these are 85 as opposed to 75 for the other two I just mentioned, I think this still remains a very price competitive glove indeed. The fit on them is absolutely amazing and the feel is spot on too. So there are a few brands out there that make gloves that actually really know how to execute the fit. And Rev'it do get it right. Their winter gloves are always a wonderful fit and they just feel great straight away. This glove has everything you could possibly want to see in a winter riding glove if you're not dead set on something that's long in length. So shortcut, as I mentioned, you basically get this elasticated point around the wrist, which is nice and it's thin. So it means it's not going to get into competition with the end of your sleeve for where you put one over the other. This very easily goes underneath it, being nice and thin, probably equivalent to a jumper sleeve in thickness. And that means you get a good junction point. That, of course, then is going to be the one weak spot. So in terms of if you're doing really long touring riding, out of urban sort of situations, then you maybe do need something that is longer, because if it's really wet, of course, that one weak spot is going to allow water to get in. But for where we're talking really this urban riding scene, these shorter commutes and so on, this glove is perfect. And I used the Hydra 2, which is the textile equivalent, essentially last season, and it's the same thickness. And in spite of being relatively thin, it still has enough insulation with this very good quality fleece liner that it has to keep it going even on the very coldest of days in the UK. So this is waterproof and breathable by virtue of the Hydratex liner, which sits underneath this goatskin leather outer. Goatskin, the leather being one of the best leathers you can use, being very strong and very abrasion resistant, but it's got a really nice, soft and supple feel, which is great for gloves because you get the maximum amount of dexterity and feedback from the controls on the bike, which of course is what we all want. You also have Rev'it's own in-house aramid fiber shield liner beneath this leather outer. This is their PWR shield, they call it, and this is going to give you loads more abrasion resistance over and above what the leather already gives you. So this is a cracking glove when it comes to those performance spec. You also get lots of protective impact resistant features, such as the padding on the backs of the fingers. You can see you've got this shield on the back of the knuckles as well, which is really nicely blended in with the grain leather overlay, so it doesn't look like an obvious hard plastic insert. It looks really neat, and I think therefore doesn't look too edgy, too modern, too racy. It blends in nicely, making the glove overall quite neutral. One of the things they've changed about the Boxxer 2 from the original Boxxer is some of the toning of the colors. So where we have things like the ability to use the touchscreen with the panels on the index finger, that is no longer gold, which was really quite standout on the original glove. It's now black, and the branding also has been toned in really neatly with this very subtle reflective Rev'it strip on the back, which is something that's high vis under lights, but you don't really notice it's a high vis strip in the normal conditions. So that's neat, and that's quite well thought through. On the palm itself, you have this temper foam insert, which is something, again, you don't really notice, but it's going to give you just an extra degree of padding where you need it on that scaphoid area. So this is actually probably the most likely part of your hand to get injured in the event of a fall, because naturally you put your hands out rather than your knuckles, as most people sort of assume when you look at motorcycle gloves. So this is a good thing to have. It's neatly integrated and it really doesn't detract from the feel. It doesn't get in the way, and it's just very ergonomic to wear. The sizing of the gloves is spot on. So a medium's listed at 8 inches circumference around the knuckles, and a large at 8.5. I'm 8.25, and as with mostly the case with Rev'it, I can therefore fit in either the medium or the large. It kind of depends, there's no right or wrong. I'm going to go for the large in these, but the medium would fit fine. You just take a little bit of time to let the glove stretch and wear in. That's actually quite a good thing to do when you have a full leather product like a glove, is get it a bit tighter. It will give and it will become a really wonderful fit, not in too much time. So you only need to give it about a week or so of use. So the Boxxer 2s, they pretty much lack for nothing in terms of the spec front. They already feel worn in as a result of this really soft goatskin leather on the outer. They look great. I think that this kind of aesthetic is going to appeal pretty much to everyone out there. So anything all but the most racy in terms of design briefs and all but the most classic. So everyone else, this is going to work really well. And for me, these would be my choice out of the vast range of gloves that we offer in the winter. And if you are interested in this, as I say, also check out the Cassini and the Hydra 2s, because they're every bit as good as these technically, but for me, £10, you get a glove here that I think feels a lot more premium than that price difference. So leave us your thoughts, comments, and feedback in the section below. And if you have any questions, as always, we look forward to hearing them, and we will see you again soon for another video review. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.